What's up guys, Macaddy here, bringing you our second UU battle. Now today I am against Salty Panda, who actually, funny enough, asked me to try and make this team for sort of based around his Nidoking set. So it's going to be a pretty interesting battle, I'm really looking forward to it actually. So we're looking at his team. We have what looks to be probably a Mega Aggron, which is going to be pretty bulky, and also a potential Crest Stop as well, which is quite sad. A Goodra, which I haven't seen too many of those, so hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. It is going to be super specially defensive. For some reason, none of his sprites apart from his Aggron are moving, but not much you can do about that. A Main Shao. Difficult to know. It might be just a sort of standard Life Orb. We'll have to see. A Florges, who's got he's got good physical bulk, 2 things with good physical bulk, 2 things with good special bulk. So this is a super bulky team right here. I don't know why I've forgotten the Donphan, and which is going to have the Rapid Spin as well, so we've got to watch out for that, and a Entei. So in terms of lead, I do anticipate, now they're starting to move. I do anticipate the Main Shao leading off actually. So it is quite tempting to lead with something that I know can handle it quite well. Let's see. So they normally run Knockoff, Fake Out, High Jump Kick. So maybe Blastoise is quite a good lead because, I mean, I can hit that super effectively. I can hit that not super effectively, but I can hit that relatively hard. Entei I hit hard. So all of the main sort of potential leads, and also Main Shao, while it can damage me, I think he won't really want to stay in for a Scald. So I think Dead or Alive we'll go for. So obviously you guys haven't seen the nicknames yet actually. So I've got Dead or Alive. So comment below if you get that one. That one's a little bit more slightly alternate. But Fairy Godmother from the anime, and then just Bluck because he's blocky or bulky, and Old Battle Axe for Haxorus as well. So hope you guys like the new nicknames on them. So he does lead with Tree Trunks, so looking at this he probably is going to be trying to set up the rocks. I don't particularly want him to do that, so I'm just going to go for the Scald. To be honest, I do see him potentially switching out, but even if he does decide to go out into the Florges, at this stage I would just rather go for a safe move and just go for it. I'm not going to try and be fancy and predict a double switch here. I really hope he does decide to stay in though, because if he ends up staying in, then he's going to end up, he does decide to stay in, he goes for the, Rock Polish. Is he going to be Weakness Policy as well? Now that's really cool. I have not seen that before, but that is awesome. I absolutely love that. So from here, here's a little bit of predicament. I think I'm just going to stay in. Luckily, I do have Fairy Godmother around as well. It's just whether I want to stay on or not. It is tempting to go into Bluck, but I think they do carry the knockoff sometimes, if I remember rightly. So I think I'm just going to stay in and Scald. I'm reasonably comfortable that I would be able to take a hit from this. We'll see. It'd be quite interesting just to find out anyway. I am sort of bulky, so yeah, we'll just have to find out. But that's absolutely awesome. I've never seen a Weakness Policy Rock Polish Donphan before, and I love it. I don't anticipating him switching out at this point because of the state that he's in. But now I don't have to, I take that. I'm quite surprised at that. So I managed to take it. It is going to be the end of Blastoise, but his most likely rock setter, what would have been his rock setter, has gone. I guess the Aggron might still have rocks. We'll have to see. But to be honest, I think it's worth losing Blastoise to get rid of that Donphan, because I can now set up the web, which is going to destroy the Main Shao and also the Entei as well. These 3 aren't going to be as affected, but I think it still is going to make quite a bit of difference, especially with the Crest as well, because I know I could set up on the Florges. He does go out into his Main Shao. So from here, I'm just going to go for the Scald. He is going to reveal at this point whether he has the Fake Out or not. So I'm quite looking forward to finding out about that. He will have used his Fake Out as well. So, oh no, he does just go for the U-turn. Okay. It's difficult to work out exactly what he is at this point. He may just be Choice Scarfed or Choice Banded, considering the lack of Life Orb recoil. Because normally they run that with Regenerator, so he may be sort of sashed, not sashed, scarfed with Reckless. So that's something we've got to watch out for. Because he's going to have quite considerable speed, even with the Sticky Web coming up. He also may have priority with the Entei as well, so that, apart from that though, the rest of them are relatively slow. So it's 5 for 5 at this point, so it's difficult to say who's going to win. I think getting Sticky Web up is going to definitely be the #1 priority now. So he's taking a bit of time to work out what he's going to go into. If he does go for the Entei, he doesn't. He goes into the Aggron. Okay, this is my opportunity. I'm going to go in and set up with Spexborough, because if he sets up the rocks now, then I would have ended up not being able to get my keep my sash. So this puts pressure on him to attack me rather than set up the rocks. So I'm going to go for the Sticky Web this turn, and I think, to be honest, even if he ends up switching out into something so it's not affected by the webs at that point, I've still got the sash going, so I can still get a hit off on them. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes for. He may just go for the Heavy Slam at this point, or the EQ if he has it. But I'm kind of hoping he goes for a Dragon Tail. Oh, he goes for Hone Claws. There's a lot of setup on his team. So I'm just going to go for a Thunder here, because I can take 2 hits now, and I'm pretty sure, while I won't be able to take it out, I probably will be able to get it down to... unless I miss, of course. He does go for the Stealth Rock this turn, which is fair enough. I'm just going to go for another Thunder. Nothing particularly appreciates it. I guess the Goodra doesn't really mind, but with the Para chance as well, that's because I've got 30% chance to Para as well. He is also starting to set up as well, and I haven't seen a Hone Claws set before, but it's quite interesting how it's sort of half set up, and then with rocks as well, so that's quite interesting. I think I will probably run one with setup and then the other one to get the rocks up, and he's at 58%, that's quite considerable. So unfortunately Bluck comes out now, so I am in a little bit of a tricky position, because I would like to keep my Cress, and I have a feeling maybe if I go for the sub, it's difficult to tell. I'm not going to be able to really touch this anyway, so I don't really want this setting up. So from here, let's see, so my Haxorus is going to be quite good for the Goodra. I still have Poison Jab as well. Fairy Godmother is going to be excellent. Killer Bunny is going to be absolutely brilliant, because it can damage that badly, damage that badly, damage that badly, and kind of handle the main shell as long as it's not scarfed. So I would like to quite like to keep Bluck around, because it's also quite a good counter to Florges. So it's difficult to tell. What I don't want is Haxorus being sent out, but I may have to go out into Spexborough at this point. I think I'm going to go out into Spexborough, especially with the Entei, with the E-Speed. I know it will be able to take me out. The main shell, if it has access to Fake Outs and he wasn't showing it, then that's going to be a problem as well. So I think that's probably the best play from here. It's also my least valuable Mon as well, because I mean, Florges it's not going to really touch, Goodra's not going to really touch, Entei's going to take it out, Main Shell's got Fake Out, the only thing it can really hit hard is the Aggron. It's a real shame that I did miss that first Thunder, because actually I'd have been able to take this out and it wouldn't be as much of a problem as it is right now. He does go for the Dragon Tail. I'm hoping that he does take me out, so actually I now get the choice. So from here, I can actually go out into Nidoking and go for an Earth Power. And considering how much the Thunder did, I can go out into this and I can go for an Earth Power, and nothing really appreciates that. If he does then go out to the main shell, it's going to give away the fact that he probably is scarfed, so we'll just see what he goes for. So I'll go for the Earth Power this turn. If he does decide to go out into the Florges, I'll probably just change my moves up and go for the Sludge Wave. So this is the sort of position where Killer Bunny absolutely excels, because he can hit, with his sort of very wide coverage set, he can hit pretty much all of his team that's left with super effective damage, and also he now outspeeds all of them as well. So that's absolutely excellent. So we're in a fairly comfortable position at the minute. I know I am 2 Pokemon down for 1, but his Aggron is going down at this turn, and he is in a slight, you could say he's in a bit of a pickle at this point. So in terms of what he's going to bring in, I mean, I know I can pretty much one-shot the Entei. I'm not too comfortable about one-shotting the Goodra, but it's tempting to give it a go. Just to see how much damage this is going to do. In terms of, if he brings out the main Shao, I probably will still stay in. It's difficult to tell. We'll see what he goes into from here. But if he does decide to go out into the main Shao, considering how reticent he is to go out into the main Shao, I think it probably isn't Scarfed. I don't anticipate the Entei being Scarfed, because normally, because obviously it packs the E-Speed, there's not much point going for slapping a Scarf on it. You're much more likely to go for a, to add a, oh, I've completely forgotten the name, a Choice Band to it instead. So the question is now, do I stay in and just go for an Ice Beam, or do I try and save this? To be honest, the rest of my team fairly comfortably handle the rest, so it's quite tempting just to get as much damage off on this as possible. It's really difficult to tell. I think an Ice Beam is going to do quite a considerable amount. My worry is if he's AV and this is not going to do that much, but it does mean I can go out into Haxorus, probably, or yeah, probably Haxorus, and depending on the amount of health he has left, probably go for a Poison Jab. So I think I'm going to go for an Ice Beam at this point. It is difficult because they all have great potential, but okay, so that probably is AV, and I do end up living that, so that's quite surprising. So unfortunately, I'm not going to live this next move. It is tempting to be cheeky and go out into Fairy Godmother, but considering how little health I am, he's probably going to switch up and go for the Dragon Pulse at this turn. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam again. If I had the choice, I probably would have gone back out into Entei, but it is really difficult. But what I can do now is actually go out into Entei and go for the Sacred Fire, because his Entei now won't outspeed me because of this, the webs being up, and I can get a Bulldoze off from there. I don't think that would take it out, but I think the combination of Bulldoze and E-Speed probably would. And because he will have Bulldoze as well, probably. My E-Speed will in the end outspeed anyway, so hopefully that will all work out. So he does just go for the Dragon Pulse as I predicted. So at this point, I think Fairy Godmother probably is the best bet. I do want to save Block just so I can go out and get into the floor, just because the rest of these two, while they are physically offensive, I think I can still handle them, because I mean a Moonblast will be doing a lot to that main Shao, and Entei, I should be, there is a good chance I might be able to keep a sub up for that. So I'm going to go out into Fairy Godmother now, and I think just go for a Sacred Fire at this point, and I'm pretty comfortable that that is going to be able to KO. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. I think that the only thing that may go wrong is if I end up missing, which is going to be a real shame. But there's not much I can really do about that. So we just got to go fingers crossed, really. In terms of potential switch-ins, I don't really see that much. He may predict me just to go for the E-Speed and try and be cheeky and go out into Florges, but to be honest, there wouldn't be much point in me doing this. At 23% as well, I'm not too sure if an E-Speed would take me out. I am forgetting that I am Life Orb though, that's the only thing. So I do have to watch that out with that with his Entei, because I don't want to get too worn down by his. Especially if that comes in and starts bulldozing as well. So I've not faced another Entei with my own Entei before, so I'm not exactly sure how much a bulldoze will do. But we'll have to see. He's definitely thinking about what to do, and it is a little bit of a tricky choice, because I mean he as I said, he could predict the E-Speed and go out into Florges, but to be honest, I think the Sacred Fire probably is the most obvious play from here. He may, to be honest, he's probably more likely to be considering whether to go out into Entei. He doesn't. He decides to sack off his main Shao. So it goes down to, so it's sashed. Oh, and I do get the burn, which is good because it means actually I get one less life orb. I get a little bit less life orb recall, which is quite nice. But now he's in a position which is a little bit tricky for him, because he could either go out into his own Entei and then he's got to take a hit from there, or he can go out into his Florges, which I think I'm just going to go for Sacred Fire at this point, because then it's going to bring it down to a level where Haxorus can handle it, and I think Haxorus probably cleans up from here. Even if it doesn't take out the Entei, I'm pretty confident that Cress will be able to take out the Entei, and then probably, and also outspeed the Goodra and take that out with a Moonblast from there. So it just depends what he decides to go into from here. What he may decide to do is use his Goodra to weaken me, and then try and go for an E-speed from there. But I have a feeling I might be able to take that. Considering I've got 370 HP and 207 defense, that's reasonably bulky. He does decide to go out into his own Entei, so he's going out to Mufasa. I am just going to go for the Bulldoze here, which means that even if he does end up taking me out, after I get a Bulldoze off, he's going to be at a pretty low speed. I do think, I'm still not sure if an E-speed will take me out, and I don't think it's worth I think the reward of being able to take this out. So he does manage to take that, and he is down to quite a lower speed, so he does go for his own Bulldoze, which does take me out. He's also Life Orb as well. So from here I can go out into old Battle Axe. I will be outspeeding, so I can just go for an EQ at this point, just in case that Florges decides to come in. And I think go for a Poison Jab on the Florges, because from there he's only got 2 special attackers left. So if I can get a sub up on the Florges with Cress, that means that actually he won't be able to Toxic me, and I can start setting up a couple of Calm Minds just to put myself in a comfortable position. And it is going to be pretty close though. That's the only thing. He's probably thinking about it. He's probably going to go for the E-speed at this point, which is a fair enough play. But I very much doubt he's going to bring it down to a point where Haxorus is going to go down. I think I'm probably going to be able to get a hit off anyway. He does end up going out into the Florges, and that really doesn't appreciate an Earthquake. Blimey. I didn't expect it to do that much. So I'm just going to go for a Poison Jab here, and I think actually Haxorus cleans up from here, because Poison Jab is going to take that out. Nothing can switch on that. The only thing I could see him doing is going for letting his Florges go down, letting his Goodra go down, and then relying on E-speed with Entei to take me out from there. So I do go for the Poison Jab from there. So what I will probably do now is probably go out into the Goodra just to weaken it. But I'm reasonably comfortable that from here it's GG, because by the time he does one set of Life Orb recall, I can set up a sub from Cress, and he's going to have to use up the rest of his Life Orb recall to try and break through that as well. So I'm fairly comfortable that it is GG from here, unless there is any sort of utterly extreme hacks going on. Let's see, so he does decide to go out into Mufasa, and I think he's relying on the E-speed taking me out, so I'm just going to go for the Dragon Claw at this point, just because it's the most damaging move. He does go for the E-speed, so at 44%, he probably would, yeah, he would have been better off waiting for me to go out into the Goodra, because actually then I would have, oh no, I would have still lived on 4 actually, so that wouldn't make too much difference, thinking about it. So he does decide to go out into the Goodra now, and I'll go for the Dragon Claw, and I think it's GG from there. I'm pretty sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. It was an absolutely excellent battle, and I'll see you at the next video. Macaddy out. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up my latest content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Macaddy out.